Hello everyone. In this data science project, we will work on handling outliers and dealing with null values. So first we need to upload the data to Google Colab. Okay. So at the first step, we need to import the required libraries. Import pandas spd, import seaborn, and import matplotlib.pyplot splt. Okay, so now load the data file pd dot, and for further convenience while writing our code, we try to make all the column headers to lowercase by executing the following code: columns df dot. So this makes all column header to lowercase. Okay, so now try to see a sample dataset. Okay, so here we see all the column names are converted to lowercase, and here are some sample columns, sample data. Okay, so now our first task will be exploring for any outlier values. We need to find outliers and eliminate with appropriate strategies. We'll be using a histogram plot. So let's move into our next step. So we will be trying to draw a histogram of fares based on survived column. This will help us to find outliers in fare column in context of survival analysis. So we will write following code to do this. Okay. First we need to populate a graph. We will be using facet grid. For our survived column. And for the second step, we will take help of matplotlib. Matplotlib's histogram, mention fare here, and mention the bin size 20, because okay, let's see the output first. So execute the code. Oh, here is a typo here. So we see an error here. Graph.map fare data.used. We need to fix the error. Okay, so we have to say the bin size. Lots of typos here. Okay, now we see the graph. This is the histogram plot. If the bin size is too small, for example 2, if we mention 2, then it will be difficult for finding the outlier values. and if the bin size is too large, then it's too small, sorry, it will be also difficult to find. So still a good point could be trying with 20. We need to tune up the bin size for finding appropriate outliers. In this survived 0 means did not survive actually. So we we do not see anything specific, but for survived column, survival, yes, we see a outlier value here for a fair value of 500. So and from fair value 300 to 500 we see only one value. That's why we are addressing this as an outlier. So we will try to fix this by converting the outlier value to something meaningful. So in the next step we will perform an operation of the on the data frame, and the operation will be to replace the outlier with a median value for fair column, because it's the most appropriate to use the median value, since the fair column has a range of values. So we will try to write a code to perform this operation. So let's comment it out for the time being, and we will use a lock function, df.lock, and df fair column. If the data frame's fair column has more value than 400 for fair column, we try to replace it with data frames fair columns medium value. Okay, so after performing this operation, now we try to see the output again. Okay, we'll see if we still have an outlier or not. So run the code. Okay, now the range of values for fair column in our histogram illustration has been changed. So now it's 250, so it makes more sense. So we have successfully replaced the outlier value with our median value. So we will try to find another outlier. For example, if we look at our data set again, for example, we will see a sample data set again here. So where could be our next outlier value? So after careful observation, I think we could have some outlier values in age column. So yes, we have to check. So how could we check? We try to draw another histogram with survived and age. For example, delete those things. So to specified grid data column should be age. Sorry, column should be survived, and the next line will replace fair with age, and bin size we will keep still 20, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now we see a good graph. Here we can clearly see an outlier for the survived section. We see an outlier of 80. So we need to deal with this outlier, because this is looks irregular, and we will replace this outlier value with some meaningful data. So let's say we replace it with value 70 because it makes more sense, because if we follow the median approach it will not be meaningful. So let's do this, comment out this for the time being. We will perform the similar operation, so let's copy this, and this will be for age column. If anyone has age above 70, age column, then just replace the value with 70. Okay, so after performing this operation we will try to see the graph again. Okay, so now now the outlier value looks like it's 70. Still it's better, much more better. So now for the survived, there is no outlier value actually, but for survived, yes, we have still outlier, but considering the value distribution, we can keep it like this. So we will move to our next phase, is called filling the null values. So after careful observation of data frame sample data, we can be able to see some see some null values. For example, let's comment those things first. If we see sample data set, okay, so there are some null values, see, and in age, and also some null values is Kevin. So this stage we should look out for null values. So we will try to look through all the columns for null values in our data frame. So we will write a loop, comment out this, and let's try to write a loop for column in df column. So we will check here if we have data frame column is null, and we have to perform the sum operation. So let's execute this, and here we see a summary of all the accumulation of null values. We see in the age column total we have 177 null values, and for Kevin it's extreme large amount of null values, so we have to deal with this. And there are two missing values in embark column as well. So let's start with the age column first. So in our age column there are definitely some null values we have to deal with first. So for filling up the null values in the age column, we try to fill with median values for age column, because this will make more sense. So let's comment out this for now. Okay, so we will again use the fill na function to fill the missing values. For example, if we try to access the data frame's age value dot fill, so the data frame's age column dot median, and we will keep the changes in the same data frame, so in place is equal to, and after performing the operation we will try to see the output by using this code again. Okay, So let's execute this. Now we can clearly see the age value has no null values. So all the null values were already replaced by this median value for this column name age. So now we have to deal with our next challenge is on embarked column. So since this embark column has values with non-numeric values, we have to deal with separately. For example, since it is a non-numeric value, we try to extract which value is more frequent, and we will try to replace the null values with the more frequent values. For example, we just try to print the value counts for this column. So let's just print data frame embarked dot value counts. Okay, so let's see which value is more frequent for the column embarked. So we can see from the embarked column has three kind of values. Among them, the S value is the most frequent, so it will be more appropriate to fill the null values with this value. So we will use the again the fill now function. So let's comment this for the time being, and we will write df embarked dot fill now with s, and we will keep the changes, so in place is true. So after performing this operation, we will see the result again. So okay, run. So we will try to see all the status of the individual columns. Okay, so embarked has been replaced. The null values in the embarked column has been replaced with s. Successfully, we can see no null values remaining here. And the next step, we will try to handle with the cabin values. Since the cabin value has a large number of missing values, we will try to completely drop the column. So this will make our task easier. So for this, we will use del function of the Python, and we will call the cabin column from the data frame to delete this. And after performing this delete operation, we will again try to see the condition of our data frame. Okay, so let's execute this. Sorry. Okay, so embarked has no null values, and fair has no null values. Nowhere we see null values. So and the column named cabin has been completely removed. So if we just want to see a sample data, we can just call it here. So here from a sample data set, we see no null values, and from running a loop through all the columns, we also able to see there is nowhere in any kind of null value in our data set. So uh, this is the demonstration of how we can clean and prepare data uh, in our data set. So thank you, and we will see in our next video.